Hey guys! I'll show you how to speed up After Effects and how to use Pack Manager faster. First, you need to use the latest After Effects version in CC 2023. They released an update that uses multiprocessing, and by itself it will be faster than previous versions by 20 to 30%. Next, what you can do. Let's say you have an animation and you don't need as much customization. You can import an animation as a video. Videos are rendered much faster in After Effects and you will save time in this way. You can save even more time if you need to understand if animation will work for your scene. You can import an image instead of a video. An image will be smaller size than a video. You will download it faster and you will understand if it works for your scene or not. Then you can replace it with video or a project. Next, close are the programs. After Effects is very demanding software and you need all the power you can give it. By closing other softwares you will make sure that After Effects runs faster. Next, change resolution quality. You can change how you preview your animations by going here. You can set it to half or you can set it to quarterly. That's what I usually do. You can go even lower in that. You can set it to custom, let's say 1/8. You still see the animation. It's a little bit lower quality, but it will be rendered on preview much faster. And once you render out the file it will be in full resolution, unless you change the settings. So you don't need to worry that you will forget. Next, solo, a layer. By default After Effects renders all layers. Let's say you have 5 different layers. After Effects will be rendering all of them. You can solo a layer and After Effects will render only this layer. If you have hundreds of layers, it will speed up the workflow. You can solo only the layer you are working with right now. And then you can unsolve it to see the entire composition. You can also solo multiple layers and unsolo them as well. Just make sure that you don't forget that you solo some layers. Region of interest. You can specify region of interest and render only a small portion of your composition. You can access this right here, and in this case After Effects will render only this small portion. You will still see what you need to work on, but it will be much faster, and once you're done you can press this button and go back. Reduce a project. When you are working on a project, you are adding a lot of files, a lot of compositions and so on. Some of them are not used in the project anymore, but they still take resources of After Effects. The more items you have in the project panel, the slower your project will be. And you can fix it by selecting a composition that you need. If you need to keep multiple compositions, select all of them. This is what you will keep in After Effects. You can go to File Dependencies and Reduce Project. In this case, After Effects removed 3 items that were not used in any way in these 2 compositions. I recommend saving your project before you do that, just in case. Next, add disk cache. I do it for all projects that I work on. As soon as I install After Effects, I go to Preferences, Media and Disk Cache. Ideally you would want to select a disk cache on a separate SSD. It should be separate from your system drive. In that case, the read and write speed will be faster. They will not compete for resources for Windows or Mac OS that you are using. And I recommend to setting it to as much as possible. In my case, it's 100 gigabytes. Another tip is keep your projects on SSD drive as well. So it is a different drive from your system drive. In that case it will not compete for resources as well and you should see faster speed. Use AEJuice freeze frame script. I covered this script in a separate tutorial. You can find it on our YouTube channel. I'll just say that it might be useful in some cases. It works similar to solo layer but a little bit more convenient and it freezes animation in time rather than solo some layers. Next, you can profile After Effects edit a feature, render time. You can enable render times by right-clicking here, Columns, Render Time. Now you'll see the columns render time and it will display how long does each layer take to render. In my case it's 0, but if you have heavy project you can see that some of the layers might take 0 milliseconds. But some of them can take 2 or 3 seconds, and in that way you will know what you can optimize in your project. Last 2 points, preview faster. There is an option to skip frames when you preview in After Effects. you will need to go to Preview window. If you don't see all options, you can right-click and maximize panel and you can set skip. By default it's 0, but you can skip 5, 10 frames. In that way, when you press 0 on your numpad to play, it will render only each 10th frame. If you don't need a detailed preview every time, it can save you a lot of time. And lastly, if you want to render a draft and take a look how it will look on render, you can change the best settings to draft settings. The render should be faster. It's not your final output, but it's enough to understand and make changes. I hope it was helpful. We update this article regularly and come back and see later for any updates or any new features we've added. We constantly optimize our products to work faster on a render and hopefully this will be useful. Thanks for watching.